You found the neighborhood. You love the floor plan. You can already picture pulling into that driveway. Then the lender pulls your credit. And just like that, the dream is on hold. Bad credit doesn't just sting, it stops everything. And nobody tells you what to do next. Until now. Welcome to the Credit Confidence Home Buyers Club podcast, where we sit down with real builders across Texas so you know exactly what's out there waiting for you. Let's go get your home.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Today, we are on the south side of San Antonio, out at Vida, that master plan community right off of 410 and Zarzamora, next door to Texas A&M San Antonio. If you're not familiar, Vida has become one of the go-to spots for folks who grew up on the south side and want to stay close to home while still getting a brand new build. Joining me today is Jose Charot, sales counselor with Perry Homes here at Vida. Perry's been building in Texas for almost 60 years now, and they've got some great floor plans going up in this community. Jose is going to walk us through what Perry's building out here and what makes Vida special and what buyers should know if they are thinking about making a move to this side of town. Jose, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
So this is actually the Credit Confidence Home Buyers Club podcast, okay? The main objective of the show is we're hoping to find an audience that wants to buy a beautiful new home, but the overall premise here is that maybe their credit is not quite there yet. Okay, so this is kind of our main audience that we're speaking to. But I kind of give this disclaimer as well. If you happen to come across this episode and your credit is ready, we can still absolutely help you, right? So today we want to go over what this home is like, you know, the details and what features you have. And I know that Perry has different programs and things like that for buyers. And you guys are doing, like, we're recording this in the summer, and so there's some summer incentives. And so the objective today is to be able to highlight what this property is all about, specifically this community, specifically this particular model, which is, by the way, absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And so we'll be showing some B-roll footage here, showing how gorgeous this is. But right now we're filming in, what would you call this little section here? We got the kitchen behind you. What is this, the dining?
So this would be the dining. This is going to be one of those open concepts where you have the kitchen, the island, the dining, and the living area really open.
Yeah.
So, you know, families that have kids, they can all be together no matter if someone's eating at the table or someone is watching Netflix on the TV.
Yeah, exactly. And so then behind me is the family room?
So that would be the family room,
okay.
Right? So it's a pretty good sized family room in this 2358 model,
okay.
Overlooking with the wall of windows to the back patio.
Okay, one story.
One story.
This one's a one story. When I first came in here, I swore up and down that this was a two story.
Everybody always says, they walk in and they say, hey, you know what? This is a cool floor plan, but do you have any one stories? And I say, this is a one story.
You're in it.
We're actually known for having those really high ceilings,
yeah.
Really high roof pitches. So
yeah.
It's really going to give you that grand look.
For sure.
In a one story. So like just this home, for example, you walk in, you have 12-foot ceilings with
yeah.
a chandelier in the entryway and 10-foot plate throughout the entire house. So no matter what room you're in, you're having those 10-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
8-foot doors, just kind of make everything look really big.
It really is. And I think that's part of it, is that when you're coming in here, it just feels so grand. Mm-hmm. It's just enormous because the door you're walking through is so huge, and then the ceiling is so high. So in the back of your mind, you're like, there's got to be another floor in here somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Where's the staircase? How come I can't find it anywhere? You know?
Yeah.
Well, because it's a one story. It's such a great setup. It's such a great floor plan that it gives that feeling, right? It gives that vibe. So 2,300 square feet.
2358.
2358, okay. How many bedrooms in this one in particular?
So this is 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So you have your primary bedroom in the back.
Okay.
You have a guest suite here, or a mother-in-law suite, as some people like to call it. And then you have 2 other bedrooms with a shared bathroom.
Wow, that's beautiful. And then did I also see a study/office?
Yeah, so at the very front of the home, you're going to have an office. And I have 3 floor plans with this same design. I have a little brother, I have the 2358, and I have a big brother. So some people come in and they say, you know what, I really love this floor plan. I wish it had just a little bit extra square footage.
Yeah.
I say, hey, you know what? Let's check out the big brother.
Sure.
Some people come in and they say, you know what? I don't need 4 bedrooms. I only need 3 bedrooms. Let me show you the little brother.
Wow.
Right? So we've got a little bit of everything.
Now, can you get into just briefly what is exactly the difference? So if I went with the big brother, what extra am I getting? Is it just slightly larger everything?
So a little bit of larger on everything. So instead of 2358 square feet, now you're going to 2569 square feet. So it's still 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom plus an office.
Yep.
However, in the bedroom, I like to call it a little secret passageway. It's a really cool connection from the bedroom to the bathroom to one of the closets, and then it leads into the laundry room and then leads out to the rest of the house. So let's just say you and I were doing a podcast here, and let's say this was our actual house and we were in the big brother, the 2569. You and I could be here doing something, and somebody else could be on the other side of the house going from the front to the back without ever coming out.
You'd never even know they were there. They'd be hidden back there in the Batman chamber.
There we go.
I love that. No, that is so cool. And that's, one of the things that I've noticed about the newer builds, and Perry in particular, is they pay attention to those cool little details like that, right? These are not the floor plans that we grew up with, right? These are not the just basic kind of little boxes that we kind of, for the most part, knew. These houses have so many cool little nooks and crannies and little, unique rooms and I think that's one of the really fun things about buying new construction. Again, especially Perry, I think is probably the leader of that, right?
Absolutely.
They seem to pay a lot of extra attention to those things, and I think people know when they're buying a Perry home, they're going to get a lot of that, right? Perry seems to be somewhat, dare I say, in a league of its own, in a category of its own, right? I think it's a cut above the rest in a lot of different ways. I see things with Perry that you just don't see anywhere else. And it just has that vibe. I'm not even going to lie. Like when you're here, you just kind of feel like, okay, this does feel a little next level. And I noticed that the pricing is a little bit higher than everybody else, but I also noticed that you're getting more. Right? Like anything else, you're getting the value, right? So I don't think Perry hides that.
No, we don't, especially when you're looking at a price per square foot. We may be a little bit higher than some of the other builders, but what you're getting for what you're paying, it actually doesn't, it's not overpriced for what you're paying. Because we do our comp studies from all of our builders. And here in Vida, we have 3 builders. We have Lennar, we have Highland, and we have Perry Homes. And people always ask us, why do you have Lennar next to a Perry home? And it's really easy for me to answer that. And one of the things that I start off with is I grew up a mile away from here. I could walk to my mom's house from here, right? Just on the other side of 410. And we grew up, like you said, those old traditional houses, right? So people that are on the south side, they want to stay on the south side. And Lennar does a really good job of making that affordable housing. But Vida, specifically, like you said on the intro, is San Antonio's master plan community. So we're going to have the school, we're going to have shops, we're going to have restaurants, we're going to have the housing, but we need to be able to house everybody. Right? So not only do we have University Health that's going to be opening up next year. The CEO of the hospital lives in a Perry home. We have
in this community?
In this community, down the street. I won't give out his address.
But he could walk to work if he needs.
Could walk to. I would probably say, I always make a joke. Get a skateboard and skateboard to work or something.
Razor scooter or something.
I'm actually going to be starting a cycling club here, so maybe we can cycle to work.
There you go.
But one of those things that the president of Texas A&M lives here. He lives just down the street from us. I won't point out his house, but if you drive down the street, I'm sure you could pick out his house.
And that's a Perry home as well?
It is a Highland. It's a Highland, we collaborated on it.
But it goes to the point that you're making, is that there's several different builders in here. You can still decide what your budget is and what your style is and what your quality and all those different things, and it appeals to different people.
We have students who live here. We have students who rent houses here. We have people that come in as an investor and they buy a Perry house and they rent it out. Now, Perry does one thing that not a lot of builders will allow, and that's customizations. Now, we're not a custom builder, right? We're still a production builder, but we do allow customizations. And we have people who come in and say, I want a 5-bedroom house because I'm going to rent out 2 of them. Right? And can I get those 2 to have a private bathroom, or can I get those 2 to have something? And I'll show our floor plans and I'll say, look, this floor plan is closest to what you've told me because it's not a custom floor plan, so it won't be exactly.
Sure.
But we can make a couple of changes and make it exactly what you're wanting.
Wow.
And we have a few people here that have bought more than one house based off of being able to make some customizations.
I love that. The going back to your original statement, you can also go a little bit smaller version of this one. So in that case, what is changing there?
So you get 2099 square feet, so just under 2100 square feet.
Okay.
So instead of 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms plus an office,
Yeah.
we're combining one of those bedrooms and making it a office and a game room.
Okay.
So now it's really good for starting families that have a small child or maybe a couple of kids, that game room is now that room where all the toys go in.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
I have a 6-month-old. I'll have a 7-month-old in next week.
Wow.
So we're kind of in that point where we've got those little those little balls, the little plastic ones.
Oh yes.
The
I
ball
know them.
pit balls.
I know them well. Yeah.
So in my living room, we have our little play area, and so we've all contained it in there. But he's not going to be in that for very much longer, right? So he's going to want to start exploring.
Yep.
So having one of those game rooms aside from your office is really going to help to say, you know what, we're going to put all of our toys in this room.
Yeah.
And it's going to kind of help to teach these kids, like, this is where that goes instead of having it everywhere.
Yeah.
So instead of having 2358 square feet, you're coming down to 2099.
I see.
Instead of having the 3 bathrooms, you're having 2 bathrooms.
Makes sense.
But that bathroom that we have for those 2 other bedrooms aside from the primary, it's really cool because it's not a Jack and Jill.
Okay.
It's actually called a Hollywood style bathroom.
What the heck is that, Jose?
I know, right? So a Hollywood style bathroom is really cool because when I grew up, my sister and I shared a bathroom.
Sure.
Right? And it was one door, one shower, one restroom, one sink. One person was in there.
Yeah.
She's taking up the entire thing. If I was in there, I'm taking up the entire thing.
100%. Yep.
The Hollywood style bathroom separates your vanities, so you have your own private vanity.
Okay.
In your bedroom. So let's say the kids are getting ready, brushing their teeth, doing their hair, getting ready for school or getting ready for whatever they're doing. They're not taking up that entire bathroom.
I see.
So someone can still be in the shower while the other person is doing something.
Brilliant.
So that's separate. So that's a Hollywood style bathroom because your vanity's alone.
Wow, I'm thinking like I need that myself. For my family. Yeah. That is cool. Now, one of the things stuck out to me that you mentioned a minute ago was the mother-in-law slash what did you call it? A guest room?
So a guest suite,
Okay.
an ensuite. Some people call it. I call it the mother-in-law suite.
Is that in this one, or is that in the bigger brother?
No, it's going to be in this one and in the bigger brother. So a lot of our floor plans will have that mother-in-law suite. Now, the mother-in-law suite is going to be a private bedroom with a walk-in closet and a private bathroom. So that mom, or that guest, whoever you're having. Overnight doesn't have to share a bathroom. They can get like their own little hotel room, their own hotel suite.
That's basically what it is.
All in one.
Very private.
Yeah, absolutely.
For your guest or what have you.
The 2358 and the Big Brother both have that.
Yeah.
I have several other floor plans that have a mother-in-law suite.
Okay.
The Little Brother, because we're trying to scale things down, doesn't have that one.
Sure. No, and that makes a lot of sense though, because you're going down a step. You're kind of chopping like the excess stuff, right? And otherwise, if you're here or you're going up a step, you want all the goodies.
You're also chopping the price as well.
And you're chopping the price as well, for sure. I love that. And that's what, when you said that this was a 3 bathroom, I said, okay, most 1-stories in the 2,000-ish range usually are still only a 2, unless there's like a half story upstairs or something like that. So now I understand.
Or a half bath.
Or a half bath.
Right.
Yes.
So some people will just have a powder room.
2.5, right? Yeah. Right. But this is a full 3.
Full.
I see. And that's because it's attached to that extra room.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's the other thing that I think Perry's really good at is they're mindful of where the modern buyer is. And the modern buyer has a lot of different needs.
Now, let me bring up something else that's really cool.
Please do.
I just did this for the first time in Vida.
Okay.
And we're still under the plan part of it. We haven't started construction. We actually poured the slab for it.
Okay.
But this is going to be the first time in Vida that we've offered a dual master.
A dual master.
So one of
2 masters in the same house is what you said?
2 masters and a 1-story.
Wow.
Okay. So the way that this one worked is similar to this floor plan.
Okay.
The mother-in-law suite. Well, the mom was like, I want a big room, right? She didn't want to leave her own house. She was independent. And they were like, no, Mom, you know what? getting up there.
Sure.
We want you to move in with us, but we don't want you to feel like you're stuck in a smaller room.
Sure.
Now, my mother-in-law suite is not small by any means, but she wanted to have her own little sitting area.
Yeah,
so if her friends came over, they can, all hang out together.
Extra space, yeah.
So what we ended up doing was the 2 rooms that had a shared bathroom.
Okay.
We ended up doing what's called a COP. So it's a custom plan option, right?
Okay.
So we ended up dividing that room, that wall, eliminating it, moving the bathroom around, combining all of that square footage into a single room.
I see.
And we made it like a full primary bathroom with like a full vanity.
Wow.
Now she is a little bit older, so what we ended up doing was doing a roll-in shower for her. So no tub, but where she can just kind of walk in or roll in.
Sure.
Making it super accessible for her. So that's something that here on the south side, people really haven't had a dual master. I have people here that are siblings.
Okay.
And one of the siblings is married, so guess who got the primary bedroom?
Sure.
Right, so they got that one.
Yep.
And then the other brother, because it was 2 brothers, the other brother took the mother-in-law suite or that private suite for himself.
Yep.
Now imagine if they had that option of doing the dual master.
Right.
So starting out this year, we did the first one, and and I say this year because it takes a little time for my architects to actually
map it
do
out.
the plans, figure out exactly how we're going to do it.
Okay.
It was really inexpensive as well. They told me, we have this budget, and I want you to just make it happen.
Sure.
And we came out 30% under budget for them.
For a Perry home, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Because you think Perry, you think this is going to be probably, but not necessarily. It's still very affordable, right?
Absolutely.
And so I guess that makes the point as well, Jose, that the customization that you mentioned earlier, right? The abilities that you have, that's the kind of thing that's within the scope of that.
Right.
When somebody comes in here, if they request something and it's not, crazy insane, and some people might think an extra master bedroom, that is crazy insane. Well, not necessarily. That's absolutely within the realm of your abilities.
So, yes, it is.
For sure, right?
And we actually do some of those crazy, insane things.
Wow.
I have one of my builders, one of my home buyers right now, that his wife is an animal lover.
Okay.
And she takes in rescues.
Okay.
And we ended up building an animal shelter in their home.
No kidding.
So like full tiled, you walk in, you're thinking you're in a vet clinic. Now, his house is under production right now, so we can't walk in and show you actually what it's going to look like. But you walk in, you turn the side, you think you're in an animal hospital, right? It's really like a full scale
And you
thing.
were able to accommodate that request.
They came in with the idea. He went to so many different builders and just got turned away. Now, I'm not going to say it was an easy path.
Sure.
Right? It took a lot of compromise. It took a lot of drawings and redrawings and renderings.
Yep.
But we were able to make it happen for him.
And can you mention also, not the actual necessarily what they paid for it, but was it an enormous upgrade for that, or in that case because it was so customized? How would something like that work price wise?
So minimum for any changes that we have is going to be a $250 fee.
Okay.
Right? And that's really going to be for the architect to go in and draw all the plans, for us to go in and figure out what you're changing, what we're going to be crediting you. Like if you're customizing, let's say this window, let's say you want to add a third window.
Sure.
Okay, what is it going to cost me to add that third window in there?
Yeah.
So it starts off at $250, and it just kind of goes based off of what their selections are.
Okay.
Because let's say they go with the level 5 tile.
Okay.
Like a marble.
Sure.
Well, that's going to be a lot more expensive than just going with like a base level tile.
Of course.
So it's kind of like there's a big spectrum, but I'll tell you right now that the highest COP that I've seen so far is about $10,000.
Okay.
And that's really customizing like a whole wing of a house.
I see. Okay. So it still sounds very reasonable overall, especially for what you're getting on the output. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about, we've kind of narrowed down some of the features of this home. a little bit of the community itself. But talk to me about, like, if I'm moving into this particular community, where's my starting point price-wise? And then where are you at on the higher end as far as also price-wise here? And then maybe square footage is beginning to high.
So great question. I'm going to answer that in a couple of different ways.
Okay.
So right now, if you walked in and said, let me have your price sheet. Okay. We're going to start off at 1968 square feet. That's going to be my smallest house.
Okay.
3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and actually it's going to be kind of funny. My smallest house has some of the bigger bedrooms.
Okay. Interesting.
And it's funny when I say that because we're not trying to stick in an office. We're not trying to stick in a game room. We're not trying to stick in a mother-in-law suite. We're really maximizing that space.
I see.
So the 1968 floor plan is going to have bigger bedrooms than my 28-29 plan.
I see.
Now my plans, the names are based off the square footage. So if I don't say I don't want to use somebody else's names, right?
Sure, yeah.
But they have like Plan A and Plan B and Plan C.
Right.
We go based off of the square footage. So my 1968 floor plan has some of the bigger bedrooms, but we're going based off of like price here. So $425,900 is going to be my base price. Okay. And we go up from there. Yep. So the largest one story that I have right now is 2984 square feet. Okay. And that's 555,900. Yep. Okay. Now the 2984, it's kind of a special plan. It was made for one specific street here in Vida. Okay. And then we can sprinkle some of those around because it's an oversized house. Okay. You have...
I think I saw that one driving around.
So you have a 3-car garage. Standard. Now you can add a 3rd-car garage to any of my floor plans if the lot is wide enough. Okay. So all of my lots are 50 by 120. Okay. But if we had a 60-foot lot or a 70-foot lot, or I have one here that's an 85-foot lot. Wow. Then you can add a 3-car garage, or you can put a plan that has a 3-car garage.
I see.
So the 3242 floor plan is going to be my largest plan based off of square footage. Okay. Now that's going to be a 2-story, so that one's going to be a really big one. Yep. But the reason why I said I'm going to answer this in 2 parts is next year we have something really exciting coming on.
Okay, tell me.
So the developer is going to do 50-foot lots and 45-foot lots. Yep. So in the 45s, we're going to have some smaller homes.
Oh, okay.
That entry price point will come down lower.
It's going down a little bit.
Right? Now, I don't have final pricing yet. We're still working on that. My division president and I are trying to pick out what plans we want because I want to be able to pull in some 1-stories and 2-stories and try to pre-plan what people are going to be wanting to move into.
Absolutely.
So my goal is to have our starting price start with a 3. Okay. Now, as low as I can bring that down, I'm going to bring it down. Right. If I can get a 3 in that first number, I think that's going to do really good for us.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, Vida,
right now that's not the case, right?
Not yet.
Right now it's 4 is the lowest.
4, right? So 425,900.
But you're working and you're fighting to get that 3 in there.
Absolutely. Now, here's where you can come into play. Okay. So any of our buyers that may not be ready right now, like you were saying, we need to get them ready in 6 months.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And 6 months is probably when I'm going to have my lot splits.
Okay.
So it's a 6-month build time from that.
Yeah.
So that gives you a year to get someone from a whatever they're at
to where they need to be.
Where they need to be.
Yeah.
So that's where you can start saying, you know what? I saw Jose on that podcast and he said he's going to have some lots available. Let me just go see what those lots are looking like. I'm flying the drone out there every week trying to see what the development is moving forward. And, if somebody wants to say, you know what, I really like it in Vida. I see the growth potential. I see the equity potential in there. Yeah. Then we're going to get them in and we're going to say, you know what, let's start building up your credit if you're not ready. And this is a year-long plan until they're ready to move in. But by that time, they're going to be rock solid.
Exactly. I love that. And just a reminder, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, the Credit Confidence Homebuyers Club is designed to maximize incentives. Okay, so we are also trying to make sure that these individuals that come to us, just because they are maybe credit challenged or not there yet, doesn't mean you have to come into this without confidence. Part of the reason why we call it this, and thinking, well, because I'm not quite there yet, like some of the others, I'm not going to get as many of the goodies. No, quite the contrary. as part of our program, we're going to make sure that you maximize the goodies. Okay. And so you're going to get the incentives that the builder's offering, which, by the way, Jose, I'm about to ask you, so you can share with us kind of some of the stuff that Perry's offering. But I want to really emphasize that you're not missing out on that stuff. We're also going to bring a buyer's rebate in the form of a realtor that's going to pay for your credit repair at closing. So we'll have whatever credit restoration costs reimbursed, plus whatever is left over gets to go towards different things, again, nice. At closing, right? So it might help towards your closing costs or whatever. Again, there's a lot of amazing things that you get when you buy new construction versus when you don't buy new construction. You're missing out on a lot of those things. So that being said, Jose, what is Perry offering right now? Because I see a lot of different things out there, and it looks like it's pretty juicy.
It is. Now, you're also asking what are incentives right now?
Yes.
Right. So right now I have up to $50,000 in incentive.
Wow.
Now that $50,000 can be used for a lot of things.
Okay.
You can be used for rate buy down, closing cost, price reduction,
wow.
options. You can use it for a lot. So credit, how the loans are, if you're going to buy down to, let's say, a 4.99.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to have that forward commitment and it's going to cost you X amount.
Sure.
Okay. Out of that 50,000, how much do we have left? All right. So let's just estimate. Let's just say it costs $20,000 and I have $30,000 left over.
Okay.
All right. So let's say what's going to be closing costs.
Yep.
Right. Let's say, again, estimate. Let's just use a even number. Let's say $10,000.
Okay.
So now we still have $20,000 left over. Let's say that this person wants blinds, fridge, washer and dryer, ceiling fans. Let's say that they want, just to make it look like the model home. Let's say they just want it, beautiful.
Yep.
Well, we have all this extra money to be able to use towards it, right?
I love that.
Or let's just say that they have X amount left over and we're done, maximizing all the options in the house.
Okay.
Let's say we have an extra $10,000 left over.
Then what?
The price of the house, we can bring that down an extra $10,000.
Wow.
Right. So
truly flexible cash.
So flex cash is the way that I like to say it. I'll obviously say the incentive, right? The incentive money can be used for this. You can choose whatever you want to.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial advisor, so we have the loan officer say, here's how to maximize it.
Of course.
We have someone right now that maximized his incentive. Now, he did bring in a few extra of his own dollars at a 3.375 rate.
Wow.
When was the last time anybody got a 3.375 rate?
That's right.
Right. So we used our money to maximize.
Now, that was just for the first year, probably, right?
No, that's fixed.
Jose,
this was not a step.
Please stop.
This was not a step.
Please. Now, I'm gonna need an application right now, please. Yeah.
Now remember, he brought in some of his own dollars, right? So we maximized his incentive.
Yes.
And then he wanted a certain number. He said, I need this monthly payment.
That was his priority.
Yes.
To hit that goal.
He didn't even care what the house price was. He said, he got signed on to Toyota.
I see.
As one of a higher up, right? He got brought in from another city.
Okay.
So he had some of this relocation funds that Toyota gave him.
Yep.
And he said, my last house I was paying X amount. I want to pay the same amount. And I was thinking in my head, okay, let me maybe introduce you to someone that can help you with maybe like a pre-owned home or something.
Sure.
But then we got thinking, okay, well, let me show you one of my 1968 plans.
Yeah.
He's a single guy. He doesn't need a 2-story. He doesn't need a 5-bedroom.
Yeah.
Right. So we were able to get him a home that was just starting. Okay. So the foundation and the frame were up, and he went to the design center and picked out all of his own options.
Wow.
Now, one of the good things about doing an inventory home that's not completed is you can go to the design center, and if you don't like what I chose,
there's still time to change it.
Yeah, you can make your own selections. So the tile I had already ordered, but we hadn't put it in yet. He was able to change his tile.
That is awesome.
The backsplash, he didn't like the colorful geometric design that I chose.
Yep.
So he went in and he changed it.
Wow.
Now, the good thing with him is if you're staying at a level, let's just call it a level 3 backsplash.
Okay.
He can choose a level 3 backsplash, and his payment at the end was 0.
I see.
So he paid nothing out of pocket, and he got to change everything.
That is unbelievable.
So, people can come in and maximize those incentives. Now, remember, we are up to $50,000 in incentives.
Yeah.
not every home is going to have that 50,000.
Sure.
If you're
they're subject to change.
They
right?
are.
Since you may watch this 2 years from now, it could change.
It could go up, right? It could come
Right.
down. We never know.
That's right.
That's something that I learn the same day that everybody else learns online.
There you go.
It's kind of like when you walk into Apple and you're like, hey, what's the new iPhone? And they're like, I don't know, right? We're just going based off of speculation.
That's right.
When it comes to those incentives, I'll get an email and say, hey, our incentives are this.
Sure.
But I always tell people, you know what, we're going to maximize your current incentives for what they are.
Sure. Yep.
And if someone is going to have, let's say, $30,000 of incentive, and we don't have anything in that $30,000 incentive to maximize, we have a ton of other communities that we can say, look, let me find you something that's going to fit in what you're needing.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Jose, we're getting kind of close to wrapping up. I feel like I could probably talk to you for another hour and not even
this
notice
went really
it.
fast.
That was a quick 30 minutes, wasn't it? Podcasting is a lot of fun, especially when you know what you're talking about, especially when you're passionate about this thing. And for us, we are passionate about helping people. We really want to be able to cast a wider net, right? And to be able to have more people raise their hand and say yes, especially those people that thought, there's just no way. There's no way. You know, my dream would be to live in a Perry home. There's just no way. And we want to tell you, it may very well be possible, but you'll never know if you don't reach out.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because this year alone, I have so many of our home buyers that are living in their Perry home now that had a contract with another builder, and they just, you know, in the back of their head, they were like, okay, this is going to be a right now house, but it's not going to be a forever house.
Sure.
And I had a few people walk in and say, my closing date with X builder is in 30 days, right? You know, a 30-day close.
Right.
And they say, I just want to make sure I didn't make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And I have people that have switched over from X builder to Perry Homes because our pricing was either the same or less.
There you go.
And they didn't think that they could get into a Perry home.
That's right. Don't make that assumption.
Yeah.
Don't just assume that it's out of reach.
And we have people also who come in and say, you know what, I'm looking for a house in 6 months.
Okay.
And I always ask them, okay, so what's the idea with the 6 months? I'm in a lease, or my credit isn't good enough, or whatever. And I say, well, you know, if your lease, you have an apartment or you have a house, Perry has a rent to roots plan that I'll buy you out of your apartment.
Wow.
Your apartment lease, right? Or your rental lease.
Wow.
And we'll give you at closing that incentive to say, you know what? You're going to pay X amount, you know, to break your lease. Let me give that back to you.
Yeah.
Or some people come in and say, I don't think I can get this house because of my credit. Well, we can do, you know, depending on what type of loan, you know, someone who doesn't think that they can qualify, we can get them qualified.
Adjust the score to a different plan or a different program or different things.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. That is amazing. That statement right there, Jose, is left, I think, everyone with a lot of hope. And that's really the key. Any final parting words about your community, about Perry Homes, about yourself before we close out? And then we're going to go to the last part of our interview here, which is we're going to showcase a couple of places here around town. I will say this before you give us your final words. If you're living in this area, if you're from the South Side, if you want to stay in the South Side, but you just want to feel like you're in some other place, right? This community offers that very much. You're still close to all of the things that you love, that you grew up with. Your favorite Mexican restaurant, which we may or may not stop by today. You know, it's still close to all of those things. If you're coming in from out of town, if you're a transplant, you're going to still feel amazing here. And like Jose said, you might be close to the college. You might be close to the hospital, right? There's a lot of actually cool things that are growing and happening on this part of town. There's just unbelievable growth down here. No question, right? So it's a great place to live. What do you have?
You know, piggybacking off of that, there's two businesses that when they come in, it makes that community explode.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A and H-E-B. Now, there's a bunch of other ones that, you know, like Starbucks and, you know, all these other ones that go where the money's at.
Yep.
Chick-fil-A and H-E-B. So Chick-fil-A is supposed to be getting started across the street pretty soon.
Wow. There you go.
H-E-B bought land just 2 miles away from here.
I see.
So, these things, HEB sees the value of the South Side.
Yeah.
And they need that South Side to grow just that little bit more before they start making their roots down, here on 410.
That's right. Yep.
Chick-fil-A, they've already built 2 new Chick-fil-A's over on Military, and now they're coming over here. I got to get back on my diet, because once Chick-fil-A comes over here, I'm going to have them, so easily accessible. But
I feel
Vida is such a community, right? It's one of those where you have the president of Texas A&M.
Yeah,
you have the CEO living next to students, right?
Yeah.
Living next to,
that is so awesome.
Just somebody who is, an employee, let's say at the mall,
Sure,
or,
sure.
it works at HEB.
Right.
My very first job, some of you people might remember this, was Skate Time San Antonio, right here on Zarzamora.
Wow.
Right across the street from South Park Mall.
I think if anybody was wondering if you really were from here, there's no more question out with that statement.
South Park Mall, the theater in South Park Mall, right, and then Skate Time San Antonio.
Yeah.
Right. So I was a DJ at Skate Time San Antonio when I was 15 years old. That's my very first job.
Wow.
There would be times that I would skate to work.
Man.
Right. I'd put my skates on and I'd skate to work. But people down here on the South Side, we stay on the South Side. Now, you were talking about transplants. I have somebody who built their house living in Hawaii.
Wow.
They did their entire build online. Once their house was built, moved from Hawaii to Vida. We have people from California. We have people from India. We have people from Pakistan. We have people from China. We have people retired military.
Yeah.
A lot of our buyers here are retired military, because we're the closest Perry community to Lackland.
Yeah.
We're the closest to downtown.
Yeah.
Right. So there are people who live in Alamo Ranch, and if you go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning downtown, what is it? An hour?
Yeah.
An hour and a half drive?
Yeah, just to get to 1604.
Yeah.
Yeah, from your home to 1604 is sometimes 30 minutes. And then you got to go from 1604 to downtown. So yeah, it's kind of a nightmare over there.
Imagine leaving your house. You got to be there at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Imagine leaving your house 17 minutes before
nice.
8 o'clock.
That's nice.
Right. And it takes you 17 minutes to get from Vida to downtown.
Yeah. And let's be really honest about something else, Jose. I can buy the exact same floor plan here and place it somewhere else in the city. It's not going to be the same price.
So funny that you bring that up. This exact floor plan, the 2358 plan.
Okay.
You buy it in Esperanza, in Bernie.
Yeah.
You're paying $85,000 for your zip code.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you take this house, you copy and paste it in Bernie. Is that zip code worth $85,000? Now, some people
it is.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
My wife and I, before we did our home here on the South Side, I was looking in Fair Oaks Ranch. I was looking in Bernie. I was looking in these areas.
Yeah.
The church that we attend is close up there.
There you go.
So, it's a long drive for us to go all the way out there. So, for some people, absolutely, that's the place to be.
Yep. But for others,
the South Side is home.
the savings is where it's at.
Absolutely.
And this is a very beautiful and safe community, and it's very clear that there are some really good things happening here. And I think that's why. Otherwise, you're not going to see the presidents and the CEOs and those types of roles living here. They just won't do it.
Yeah.
To be straight.
We have a beautiful Madla Trail that goes throughout the entire community. So we have hiking trails.
Wow.
And it's a real nature trail. I told you that I'm going to start a cycling club. And I did some cycling around here just to kind of make sure.
Yeah.
Ran into a couple of rattlesnakes, so I can attest that it is a real nature trail.
Right.
But what's also really cool is seeing all the road runners.
Wow.
I don't know if you've driven through the community and you've seen the road runners going across the street.
Yeah, they're everywhere, huh?
They're everywhere.
Wow.
I have one of the buyers that we went to go show him one of the inventory houses that we have.
Yeah.
And he just laughed with his daughters saying, look, there's a road runner. And it was running around the backyard.
Wow. Well, the thing that actually surprised me was how green it was. Like, there's a lot of lush vegetation in this area. I know there's a little bit of like a pond kind of a thing over here. So, there's some really cool visual things going on just nature-wise that make this also look really nice. And when they build these master plan communities, they kind of factor all that in. They integrate it. They don't just chop it all and it's just all gone, right?
Yeah.
They integrate some of this stuff. And I think that's important.
Now, we had talked earlier about that master plan community.
Yes.
One thing that's in the plans, in the works, and it's going to be coming pretty soon, it's called the Zócalo Center.
Okay,
now,
what is that?
Zócalo Center is going to be like a Pearl-style community.
Really?
Where we're going to have shops and restaurants and even a music festival area.
Wow.
So it's going to be an outdoor area where we're going to have concerts, plays, music festivals, events from the campus. So imagine how much were houses 20 years ago at the Pearl or nearby the Pearl.
Yeah.
Right? How much are those houses now?
Yeah.
So people that are coming in and they're seeing, hey, I can have a house right next to the Zócalo Center.
Yep.
I could put a gate on my back fence and walk out from my back and walk a block and be there.
Yep.
I mean, imagine being able to go to PACFest, right? You know how big PACFest is.
Right, it's huge.
Right,
now.
we're going to have something down here, and imagine being able just to walk there, right? And you're still in your private neighborhood, so you're not going to have all of these people coming into your neighborhood because they're coming to that Zócalo Center, but you're right around the corner.
Right, it's literally in your backyard.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Jose, this has been awesome. Again, I'm going to leave off with this. This home is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous home. It's no surprise to me that you're closing this out already.
This house is actually for sale.
That's what I was hoping you would pick that up, and you did. Thank you.
This house is for sale, $525, and we do have incentives on this house as well. So if somebody wanted this house, I have someone who has been saying that they're interested in it for about a year now, and they've been bugging me, and they come in about every 1 to 2 months, and they just look around and they say, I'm going to move in here one day, but I need you to let me know when it's ready. And this past Sunday, I said, hey, you know what? I have it ready. Let's make an appointment. You can come in and at least take a look at it, make sure it's what you want. We'll work on the numbers, and we'll figure out exactly how to make it happen.
So you've got at least one competitor already that you're going to have to contend with. Jose, we are back for the second part of our podcast today. Something a little unorthodox. We are on site here at one of the locations close to your community. This is, as you can see, the beautiful Texas A&M University San Antonio. And part of our reason for coming here was that you mentioned you have a few people in your community living in Perry homes that come here as students, and then you also have the president.
We have the president. We have professors who live here. We have staff who live here. We have students who live here. Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is obviously a big part of this area. A lot of the development of this area revolves around this beautiful campus. But this is this is Texas A&M, right? I mean, this is a great college, a great opportunity for you to live nearby where you go to school, a great opportunity for you to live nearby where you work, right? And so just a beautiful place and a beautiful opportunity that we wanted to highlight as part of this podcast today.
So one interesting thing is the president of Texas A&M lives here, and he has actually allocated money to come down to this area. We're going to be building a football stadium.
Wow.
Right. We're going to be building so much in the community here that this campus is going to be bigger and better than the College Station campus. Now, some of those College Station people, please don't get mad at me. I'm only saying what is planned. Yeah. And we're planning on making Texas A&M University San Antonio the biggest, best campus in the entire Texas A&M.
That is absolutely amazing. All right, well, we've got a few more stops. See you at the next one.
We'll see you guys soon.
Okay, Jose, number 2 stop. We just finished at the college. I can see the college from here.
Right across the street.
Probably 30 seconds, but now we are at this beautiful new state-of-the-art hospital, University Health Palo Alto Hospital, still under construction, as you can see. What is the slated open date for this?
So we're Q1 of 27 is when we're expecting it to be open.
Okay, so we're almost there. So if you are obviously living in Vida, you can access the hospital for your needs. It's probably, 2 minutes from the community, something like that?
I mean, people in phase 3 and phase 4 can actually walk. You can see the houses just on the other side of this parking lot.
It's really, really close. If you're going to be working here, that's another option. I know for a fact that you've already got at least one person here, an ER doctor, right? Tell me a little bit more about her.
So we have the CEO of the hospital that's actually moved in already, but we do have one of the ER doctors who's planning on working here, but she's also planning on possibly taking some of the open land here that's available for commercial use and starting her own practice there. So that way you can have a couple of different options.
That is so awesome. The other thing worth noting is there is a beautiful brand new clinic right here next door. That's called the University Health Vida Clinic. Tell me a little bit more about that. What do they offer there?
So the clinic is open already. It opened up last year, and it's a 3-story clinic, and you have so many options for services there. You have a pharmacy, you have women's health, you have mental health, you have ambulatory services. There's a lot that you can do there.
Wow, that is amazing. So everything you need, the college is there, the hospital is here. We've got all kinds of new businesses that are popping up. This is awesome, and we're going to go ahead and prepare to move to our third and final stop in our tour, our post-podcast tour. See you on the next one.
There we go.
Okay, Jose, we are back at our last and final stop of our post-podcast tour that we're doing today. We are at none other than Don Pedro's Mexican restaurant here on the South Side, an absolute staple. Now, I'm from San Antonio, and I know that Don Pedro's is a staple of the South Side.
Absolutely.
You're from the South Side.
Absolutely.
Tell me your thoughts on this place. This is like the OG Mexican restaurant, right?
You know, my parents and I, my family and I, we'd come here every Sunday after church. We have had birthday parties here, family celebrations, family get-togethers, people from out of town. Like, this is where we come, and you got to get the number 3, right? The number 3, that's the thing that my dad, whenever he sat down, don't even give him a menu, just give him the number 3.
That's right. Don't even question it.
Yep.
Now, if you're from here, then you know that you get access to this. If you're living in a neighborhood like Vida, this is still not that far. I mean, it's really right around the corner, right? And you still have access to your favorite foods. If you're not from here and you are one of those that's coming for the college or from the hospital or from Toyota or one of those type of places, these are the type of restaurants that are just right around the corner. This is part of your community now. This is a place that you're not going to want to miss. And you still get to go back to your beautiful, private, nice Perry home when you're done.
Absolutely.
Not too shabby.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to leave us with? This is our last stop. So, we just wanted to showcase a few places in the community and show what was out there. There's plenty more, right? There's all kinds of stuff. There's a mall that's nearby. And you and I were talking on the way over here. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of new things that are popping up, right? This is just the start, but we wanted to show you the old and the new.
This just feels like home. You come in, you sit down, chips and salsa. It just feels like home.
That's right. Exactly. So make sure you reach out to my dear friend here if you are interested in a brand new Perry home on the South Side. You're the guy for them. Why don't you just leave your number? We'll have it in the show notes, but what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, you can give me a call or a text, 210-865-7975.
There it
Call
is.
or text.
There it is. And again, the Credit Confidence Home Buyers Club is there to help you. And if you need some help, fill out the form, visit the website, and we will turn you over to people like Jose and his beautiful community and his beautiful home here on the South Side. Thanks again. We'll catch you on the next episode.
There we go. Goodbye, guys.
Bye-bye. Jose, this was great. Really appreciate you breaking all of that down for us. If you're listening and you're Southside born and raised, or even if you're just looking for a solid new construction option close to Texas A&M, the Toyota plant, and everything that downtown has to offer, Vida is worth a look. And Perry Homes has some great options out there right now. If you want more info, reach out to Jose and the Perry Homes team directly at Vida. We'll drop their contact information in the show notes. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the Credit Confidence Home Buyers Club. We will catch you on the next one. See ya.
That's another builder, another community, another step closer to a home that's actually yours. The incentives are real. The homes are out there. The only thing left is your credit, and that's exactly what we fix. Visit creditconfidence.club and let's get you to the closing table.